Hello everyone and welcome to another top 5 records video and the start of another discography review series. I'm diving into the world of one of the most important singer-songwriters ever, talking about Bob Dylan. And this is going to be a very big jump because I'm going to do a weekly video about one of his albums in chronological order, and that will take me at least half a year with this series. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm gonna kick it off with his first album, Bob Dylan's Bob Dylan. A very interesting album to start with because this is the only Bob Dylan album which did not, I believe, even at all, but at least initially, chart in the US amongst its when it was released in 1962. It did chart in 3 years later in the UK, but this is notoire for being his big failure. And I'm going to try to analyze why that is, but this one only sold 2,500 copies when it was released. Now, that is interesting because although in the music circles at that time it was considered a failure, this album did not lose any money because it was recorded very cheaply. Bob Dylan was discovered by the producer John Hammond while he was playing in the Greenwich Village scene, doing coffee bars and all, and he was mostly known at that time, or that was the way John Hammond discovered him, as a harmonica player. So he listened to Dylan and he thought, you know what, come and audition to us at Columbia. So he auditioned and they started recording this album. And the sessions are very interesting. I mean, Hammond later on said he was the most undisciplined player I had ever had in front of my microphone. Why? Now, his vocals, his S's were hissing, his P's were popping, and he refused to play songs a second time, or a lot of the time. So there are certain songs in this album which are a second take, but most songs are a first take, and he would often even sing off mic. And Dylan said about that, yeah, I just can't do a certain song a second time, and it doesn't have any authenticity, and that is completely interesting. With that in mind, listening to this album, I think this is underestimated, and I do understand why this does not have the value or the impact the Freewheelin' has, or other albums of him have. But what you hear here is, despite the undisciplined performance, a lot of authenticity. You can hear that Dylan believes what he's saying, and he is a very good folk singer. When you read his biography, there's this element of him considering himself mostly a troubadour, somebody who picks up songs, somebody who plays songs, and of course somebody who writes songs. But he thinks his performing is undervaluated, and I think I really agree to that. His voice, the way he twists melodies around, the way he pronounces things, the way he gets rhythm in words, and the way he gets a rhythm in his guitar playing, that is really impressive. Now, this was not as impactful in the day as his own writing, because you had other great folk singers and writers at the time. His big hero, Woody Guthrie, which he tries to imitate on this album from time to time. But also, if you take a Dave Van Ronk album from those days, I mean, that man is nailing it. And purely, technically, folk singer-wise, Dave Van Ronk is, he's a god. Especially compared to what Dylan is doing here. And I might do a video about Dave Van Ronk sometime, because I discovered some of his old albums. I found first pressings of it, and it's amazing. Yet, having said that, here you hear this man is good. And although this is an album with a lot of covers and traditionals, there are two of his songs of his own writing, namely Talk in New York and Song to Woody. And especially Song to Woody is pretty good. There are a lot of performances which he just really nails. Let's start off with In My Time of Dying. I think he does a great job of In My Time of Dying. Baby Let Me Follow You Down is incredibly good. Song to Woody, he nails that here. Freight Train Blues, I hear this Hank Williams influence there. And the way he ends the album off, See That My Grave Is Kept Clean, it's really, really good. Now, he got credits for a lot of the arrangements on this album as well, but he's been stealing some of them. I've been talking about Dave Van Ronk earlier, but the arrangement for House of the Rising Sun, which he also nails, by the way, was actually the arrangement from Dave Van Ronk. And Dave Van Ronk was quite upset when he heard Dylan did that. They were friends in those days, and he thought, yeah, no, I can't do it anymore. So there are some things going on. Overall, this is the start of a career. I saw this album being ranked amongst some of the notoire bad debuts. I completely disagree with that. I believe it was a Watch Mojo or perhaps even Rolling Stone list. Not sure. I should check that. This is not. It's actually a good album. This is a good album. Perhaps not legendary, but here you can hear one of the often overlooked skills of Bob Dylan. He is a skillful performer. He is a skillful guitar player. And he's very much a skillful vocalist. And that just sounds amazing on this record. So, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!